totally the most awesomest thing. Because leading up to it, you're like, I can't do it. I can't. And then, bam, I can. And all those people who said I couldn't make it, well, f you, I did. I proved everyone wrong.
Hi everybody, I am Peter Travers. This is Popcorn, where we tell you what's happening at the movies. And there's a movie now called I, Tonya, starring my Golden Globe Award nominating guest, Margot Robbie, as Tonya Harding, because now every movie she's going to do is going to be I, me, something is in it. So look at you, Margot, filled with fame, people at your feet saying, take my award, please.
It's a tough life, but you know, someone's got to live it.
And yet you're this Aussie girl at heart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You're
I don't
trouble.
know how I got here,
and
honestly.
a tomboy.
Right? I know. I mean, last time I was on the show, I remember we were talking about how bossy I am. And
very bossy.
I feel like I've bossed my way into, just talked people into letting me play these roles. So it's like, I'm going to play Tonya, and I'm going to produce, and I'm going to do this.
Everything you've
waiting
done.
for someone to stop me, and they haven't.
It is. It's like Wolf of Wall Street. Well, she needs to be from Brooklyn. Okay, I'm from Brooklyn. Even though you're from Queens.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, to do it. Well, anyway, how did you push yourself into the role of Tonya Harding when so many others wanted to play it?
Yeah, well, I read the script. Our production, I have a production company now, and
of course.
Yeah,
well, we all do. Yes.
As you do.
How many hundreds are working?
I had so much spare time. I was like, what can I do to? So we have a production company, and we were looking at, female-driven content and material, and scripts that could operate in the high-end indie space. And then we read I, Tonya, and it was amazing. And I knew, oh my God, we have to produce this, but I also really want to play Tonya. So I sat with the writer and our producing partner, Brian Unkelis, and kind of pitched myself to play Tonya. I was like, forget that I'm Australian. I think I'd be perfect for Tonya.
I can do it.
Yeah,
because
I
can do the triple axel.
Yeah.
Yes,
I may have exaggerated my skating knowledge at that point.
Well, you've always been kind of a hockey freak.
Yeah, I played hockey.
So you've been on ice skates
I have,
before.
but it's so different to figure skating skates. I didn't realize, but both sports are actually totally different. But yes, I had been on the ice for a season. For one quick season.
For a season?
Just a season. Well, because when you're under contract, you can't ice skate or do anything that could potentially injure you. So as soon as you're on a TV show or a film or whatever, your contract stipulates that you can't go skiing or jet skiing or ice skating or whatever. So,
well, how boring.
I know, you can't do anything.
You can't do
except all the dangerous stunts in that film, but that's all insurance.
But you're always doing stunts.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, that was basically you.
Yeah. No, that was. I
the
did.
poor
I did
stunt
all my
people
stunts.
had nothing to do.
Yeah.
But sit in their trailers.
Yeah. No. Well, Ingrid, I just got to hang out with Ingrid a lot. Actually, it was great. Yeah. We became friends.
So this is good. Yeah. All right, but let's start by you weren't even born when all this was happening.
No, I mean
you were born, but
I was 4 years old when the incident happened.
The incident. You were so aware.
Yeah, no, blissfully ignorant to the scandal.
Describe that incident, because to me, what's so great about this movie is that it's satirical. You do laugh a lot, and yet at the same time, you feel for Tonya Harding in a way, because she's always been a punchline.
Yeah.
Especially in the States, it's like. Oh, she did it. She got her husband to basically knee Nancy Kerrigan, and so she couldn't skate in the Olympics. And, what a horror show she is.
Yeah.
And that's how we thought of her.
Yeah.
And this movie doesn't we see all kinds of sides to her.
Yeah, well, because I didn't know about any of it, I could approach the character and the story with no preconceived notions and no judgment already passed on them. And honestly, reading the story, the actual incident itself wasn't even the most, not interesting is the right word, but it doesn't inform you on the person she was. And I felt like everyone let that inform them as to who she was as a person. Everyone quickly painted her as just the villain, the monster, whatever. And no one seemed to be curious as to how did she get to where she is? I mean, she grew up with no money, and she's, excelled in a sport where she doesn't, belong according to the judges. she's kind of incredible in a lot of ways. I mean, she was the first US woman to land a triple axel, and that was a huge sporting achievement, and then the whole lot was overshadowed, obviously, by the incident, which kind of seemed to me like snowball out of control into this huge global scandal. And yeah, I mean, I missed it all. So really, when I could look at it all and be like, wait, this doesn't seem fair. It was just, it's interesting to kind of see how the media influenced it.
Well, it is, but it's the movie itself. It's a delicate proposition because it could have gone off the cliff to the wrong place.
Yeah.
Where we're not seeing the humanity of those characters. Yeah. And is that because you were just writing Herd as exec producer? Is that because you
I was
really
a full
do?
producer,
Of course.
but no.
Full producer.
Yeah.
I was immediately correct.
See how bossy I am?
Yes. Yeah.
No. I mean, the script really was so specific, and the tone was specific, and it did seem to break all those rules that a script normally follows, with the mockumentary style interviews and breaking the fourth wall and unreliable narrators kind of commenting on their own storyline and all that kind of stuff. So it was specific, and all we really had to do was let that script live in the way that it existed on the page. Of course, bringing that to life was a whole lot of logistical issues with it, but that's all stuff you can kind of overcome. What really mattered was finding the director who could approach the material in a way that suited the way it was written, and the way it was written was not to make fun of these characters. And I think a lot of people saw them as being like, even directors we spoke to, because we spoke to a lot of directors, and you could tell that they kind of thought they were trashy or dumb people, and it was just, I would never wanted to be a part of something like that. And Craig, our director, really approached them with no judgment, and took them as seriously as they take themselves. And even when, Paul Walter Hauser's character, Sean Eckhart, who's the bodyguard,
right.
Is saying all this delusional stuff, like, that he has like assassins at his fingertips and all this kind of stuff that's just not true. I mean, Craig totally approached it in like, just really searched for everyone's humanity and just didn't try to show anyone as like, good or bad or silly or weird or whatever it was. He was just like, they're just people, they're just human, find the truth in every situation.
Well, which also means they could be good and bad
exactly.
and silly
at
and all
same
those
time.
things at the same time,
Yeah.
which is what we see in it.
Yeah.
But again, you're playing somebody, a real person.
Yes.
So what was your relationship like with Tonya getting into this project?
Yeah, I mean, it's an added responsibility, obviously, playing a real life person, especially one who's alive and one who's remembered so clearly by everyone, that everyone's already passed judgment on. That was like a new, strange challenge. But because there's so much footage of her online, I could study her from afar. Like, I studied that. For 6 months, I watched clip after clip after clip of her and listened to her dialect in my iPod just over and over. And obviously, I was doing the skate training at the same time. But yeah, there's a documentary made about her when she was 15, and in the movie, I play her at 15, in her 20s, and then in her 40s. So there's a big age span, and there's obviously so many interviews and stuff pre and post incident in her 20s, and then the 30 for 30 documentary that Stephen based the script on when she's in her 40s. So I could study all those things and kind of map out the character, build the character completely, and make it whole before meeting her as a person. So I made the
that would
conscious
freak me
choice.
out, So okay, I've studied you.
Yeah, no, it's
this,
weird. Yeah,
and now you're you.
Yeah, no. And then she was sitting in front of me, and I was like, "This is so weird." I've done nothing but look at videos of you and listen to you for the last 6 months, and now I'm looking and listening to you in real life, and it's really odd. But it didn't alter any of the decisions I'd made. So I decided exactly how I was going to play the character, and meeting her didn't change that.
She suffered not only that, the idea that she was the joke, she didn't look right, her makeup was wrong, she was too trashy to actually be at the Olympics, who cares about it? But then has the mother who is like this, who is saying, you're really not worth much, but I'll exploit it as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Gilhooly, her husband, who's played by Sebastian Stan really well, who is abusive. She's had to deal with domestic violence in her life.
Yeah.
Where's the fun for Tonya?
But he loved her too. It's weird, and Sebastian had such a tricky job playing that character, but we really had to see them fall. Like, we had to see that her mum's always said, "You're ugly, I don't love you," and then have Jeff be like, "I think you're pretty and I love you." You had to see you had to see what she grew up with in order to understand why she ended up with a guy like Jeff. And Sebastian had such a tough job playing that character, and he played it so well. He made this guy that in someone else's hands could have been a monster really empathetic and kind of like not being able to control his emotions, and he releases them in obviously a violent way, but all coming from a place of wanting to cling on to her, wanting to keep her, which I thought was clever.
Well, that's part of the movie, getting those, you were talking about the narrators, but from actual interviews with these people, we see a fourth wall broken.
Yeah.
And there you are sitting telling your story, and Jeff is telling his story.
Yeah.
And they don't often...
No, they never. They don't remember anything the same. The
way.
only thing they agree on is Lavana. It seemed. Yeah. That seemed to be the only thing they.
No one liked Mom.
Yeah. They had a very similar portrayal of Lavana. Everything else totally different. Totally different. Yeah.
All right. So talk about Tonya herself in terms of seeing what this movie was.
Yeah. So we showed her a week before we premiered at Toronto Film Festival, which is where we were selling our distribution for the film. And that was the first time that a lot of people were going to see it. So we wanted her to see it before that. But we gave her space. We didn't watch it with her. And so I didn't really know how she was going to react. And I was texting her before and after, like, let me know what you think. And like, are you okay? And I think she found it to be a lot more emotional than she was expecting. But she said we got it all pretty spot on. Like Sebastian, she said when Sebastian came on screen, and as soon as he started yelling, it like took her right back. She said Lavana was like, it was like watching her mom, you know, like a lot of things I think overall, there's things she doesn't agree with, obviously, because she didn't get a say in what we filmed, and we filmed stuff from Jeff's perspective too, so she didn't agree with those things. But overall, I think she was happy is probably not the right word, but felt somewhat vindicated that her side of the story was now
She
out
didn't
there.
want to do any harm to anyone who was making the movie.
Yeah, no,
She was okay about that.
She was really understanding. Like, all things considered, I would never let someone, not that my life is interesting enough to make a movie on, but I would never let someone do that. Like, it's giving a lot of like control to people who don't really know you. So
I know. It's
all
amazing you're
things
talking to
amazing.
me. You know, I can't. I don't want to reveal any of this. You know, But you know what you were saying. You don't know anything like that. When we've talked before about you growing up in Queensland, this wasn't that. You know, your mom was basically raising the kids herself.
Yeah.
You had jobs. Well, that was one job. What were you doing? You were.
I had probably every job under the sun.
They were crappy jobs.
I started when I was like 10, so I've done like everything.
Started working then. What was that first job?
I was a dish pig in the kitchens.
Dish pig?
Dish pig. That's what you call the person who washes the dishes in a restaurant.
Such a wonderful thing.
I was a dish pig.
I'm the dish pig. From dish pig to SAG nominee. Here in just seconds to do that.
Yeah, just overnight.
But you were in Australia in a show called Neighbours that was like it. You know?
Yeah, but I thought that was like the biggest it could get. You know, I was like, I can't believe I'm on Neighbours.
Bisexual character,
life will never get better.
Changing everything, and then you decide, well, I think I'll just go to Hollywood.
Pretty much. Well, I kind of assessed my options 6 months after being there. I looked around and I thought, okay, option A, I'm not good enough and I get, fired. I'm not going to let that happen. Option B, a lot of the cast members had been on the show for like 20 years, so I was like, okay, so I could do this for forever, and support a family and live in Australia, and it'd be like probably a really nice life with steady work. Or I tried my luck in America, and I'd seen a few people on the show try and make that transition, make that jump to LA, to Hollywood. So I thought, okay, I'll spend the next 2 years of my contract getting the accent perfect and saving my money, because I'll probably be unemployed for a really long time. And I'll give it 3 years, and once my money runs, I saved enough for 3 years of unemployment over here, and I was like, once my money runs out, then I'll come home. But yeah.
But because you're never really content with just riding a wave, and doing it, what's the trajectory now for you? What do you want? I mean, in addition to that, you got married, never told me.
Sorry.
Kept it secret
The
forever.
Invite must have got lost in the mail or something. That's weird.
What went on?
It was a very chilled wedding.
You kept every chill. People had to get on buses. You were just so keeping everyone away. I was knocking and saying, come on, I came all the way here, and there was no chance.
It was really small. It was just a chilled kind of thing. But Yeah, the current trajectory. Our company's up and running. I, Tonya's our first film that we produced that's going to the big screen, but we've produced 3 films now that are in the can, as they say, and we've got another 13 in development and a TV.
13?
Yeah, and then a TV department. We started at the beginning of the year, and we've sold 3 shows now. So hopefully some of those will go on air next year. So it's really busy, really busy. But that's
Are you
that's
just taking notes now in your head? I mean,
it's just
yes.
constantly.
I've got all of this stuff to do.
Yeah, no, it's constant. So it's like a 24-hour job of just constantly, okay, my to-do list is never ending, but it's great. I love it, and I'm doing it with my best friends, so it doesn't really ever feel like work.
When you get recognized, what do people recognize you for? What is it when they come up to you at a restaurant or on the street? I
mean, a lot is Harley. Or Wolf of Wall Street, or Neighbours. A lot of people still come up and say, "You're the chick from Neighbours." Even though I was like, that was so long ago. But yeah.
Who were the people that you were watching on screen growing up that you admired, that you said, I want to do that? I want to be this person or like that person?
I mean, Cate Blanchett's always been my, career idol. I just love all the characters she's played and filmmakers she's worked with, yeah. Like, she's worked with Scorsese, she's worked with Wes Anderson, she's, and the characters she's played, yeah.
But now we end in song, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, a lot of people go, what?
Yeah.
What? But not you.
No, well, because I remember last time I was on here, I ended up doing like a rap.
You did. You did. But I think you should do sort of a holiday song.
Yeah. What's a good Christmas song that we can sing? You have to sing it with me.
I'll do it if I know it.
Because I'm sick and I have half a voice.
Please.
So you help me. What's your favorite Christmas song?
Have yourself a
Merry Christmas. Is that how it goes?
No, you're picking another one.
Sorry.
Pick an Aussie one that's also rap.
There is no rap Christmas Australian song.
You could make it up. I know you can.
All I can think of is the jingle rock song from Mean Girls, where they're like singing.
Do that.
No, you have to sing it with me.
I'll do it with you. Start me.
Where does it start?
I can't start it.
It's about time to rock this night away. Jingle bell time. It's a swell time. To go riding on a one-horse sleigh.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, pick up the beat. You're lying. You don't know this at all.
I know the beat, but I don't know the words. I know it's just something about have a swell time.
All right. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you.
SAG nominee,
Thank
Golden
you.
Globe nominee,
and
Queen of the World.
Don't know about that.
That was it. Okay.
That's my title now.
Queen of the World.
Queen of the World.
I like it.